Friends, good morning. How are you doing? So this is the week. There's so many things going on in the market right now. I find myself being very nervous right now for many things. Obviously, I feel pretty confident about the rate cut coming this week. We should see here Trump announcing the new successor to Eeyore, Jerome Powell, and so that'll be another pop in the market. But obviously, right now, there is the thing right now with S&P 500 inclusion, who they're kicking out, who they're including, and this is going on literally as we speak. They've already named Carvana, obviously being one of the big ones, and a lot of us saw this coming, but obviously I think there's a trend to kind of with what we're seeing right now to automated system companies, and Carvana, clear-cut image of that. SoFi obviously is being very talked about. A lot of people are right now thinking that SoFi is going to be put in this, the S&P 500. So with this, this will be huge. It will be huge. Obviously it will be huge. Now, if you're wondering why is this such a big deal, okay. Well, one thing you have to realize here, and kind of bullet pointing this out right now, this is why right now is such a very special moment for the stock market and SoFi for this moment in time. This is such a opportune pillar of a moment for people right now, where they could be with SoFi right now. So you have the market, like I said, we had the rate cut coming, new person taking over for Jerome Powell, more rate cuts undoubtedly coming next year, whoever is picked. With that too, SoFi just did this stock offering, and I think what I'm seeing right now with this stock offering news that we've gone through here with SoFi, it's met with a lot of people saying like, and I felt this way too, but it's not negative because SoFi is not in debt. They're not, bleeding money. They're not hemorrhaging money here. They have money. They're doing well. I mean, it's beautiful quarterlies here. What more could we ask for? So when they did this, it was kind of like, okay, well, interesting. Why are you doing this? And they plainly said, hey, they didn't say specifics. They just said in a broad term, hey, we're allocating the money back into the company. And essentially, it's from what we've seen. They are building infrastructure in this company right now. What SoFi is doing, it is so obvious they are pushing into this narrative even more of software, bringing banking to people in wherever they're at, in their pocket, on their phone. This is such an opportune moment for investors. It's such a moment right now for SoFi when they're really digging in and building something special here for the company even more. And right now, any day, any moment, maybe by the time you're watching this, God willing, fingers are crossed here, that SoFi will be put in the S&P 500. Okay, so with that, let's talk about why that's so important. And two, if you haven't heard me say this and you're wondering like, well, with the stock offering, the share fell to $27. Are you worried about that? Either way, with the inclusion and the S&P 500 or without it, I'm not worried about it at all, because undoubtedly know this: whatever happens with this inclusion, SoFi is going to have a rock solid year. It's going to be a great year for them. Now, the S&P 500, it will make things a lot better. Here's why. Okay. When a company is put into the S&P 500, and this happens every year, there's some taken out, there's some put in. Okay. Now, as stocks that we saw this happen to here in 2025, okay, Palantir, obviously Palantir had all the excuses. I mean, obviously clear cut. Yeah, they got in. Stock did unbelievable this year, not only with, ETF inclusion, all this kind of stuff, but I mean, deals, everything. What's another one? Robinhood. Robinhood, who I talk about a lot, was put in the S&P 500 this year. Now, Robinhood, this is what's so interesting. This has not happened yet, but this is why trying to add image to the detail of the blank canvas right here of where this road could lead with SoFi. Starting off the year with Robinhood, okay, that last quarterly they came out with, their Q4, banging, great quarterly. Then on top of that, boom, right in the S&P 500. From that moment, and that's why this whole year has been like just pillars of growth, just like boom, 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 boom. Like, holy crap. Okay, so a lot of what you're buying right now with Robinhood, it's also exposure with S&P 500 because there's so much money being poured into it, okay? So much, not only just from little individual shares, but now it's in the S&P 500 here. There's a lot of money wrapped up in it, a lot more exposure. Okay, when a company, a stock, a share, a stock here goes into the S&P 500, a company, however you want to break this down, there's a lot more exposure. Okay, there's a lot more money going into that stock. Okay, so with that, this is why SoFi is such at a special crossroads right now. And dude, I'm going to tell you right now, it is so obvious because we're all seeing this. I was talking to some buddies about this the other day, and we're like, this is why I'm almost nauseous because I just want to know. This has got me very just like on the edge right now because if they say that SoFi is going to be put in the S&P 500, it is clear-cut victory from what is going to happen here on out. Q4 undoubtedly with SoFi is going to bring $1 billion quarterly. No doubt about it. Okay. Much like what Robinhood did. Okay. Now, with that, SoFi starts the new year going into $1 billion quarterly. We know it's coming. Boom. S&P 500, it's already in there. Inclusion. If it is included into the S&P 500, easily by Q4, when we get into that next year, beginning of next year, SoFi could be in this deep $30-$40 zone, undoubtedly, okay? There will be a pop in SoFi just on the acknowledgement of it going to the S&P 500. Don't kid yourself about this. So, friends, I'm just want to tell you that I talk about SoFi every day because it's such an interesting place right now for a lot of people right now with SoFi. You're in the growing stages, pains, or whatever you want to say, pains right now. It feels like with SoFi. If we get this with SoFi, this is going to change a lot of things. It is going to change a lot of things. There's going to be a lot of exposure here to where you're going to see the mass rush into SoFi even more. You're going to see Wall Street rush into SoFi because it's a part of the club. It's a part of the, popular kids club here. This is what it's going to be. You're going to see a run the whole year. And not only that, one of the biggest things right now that SoFi, why this seems like another dimension right now with investors, because this coming year, from what we're talking about, we are talking about having a new chairman who is pushing rate cuts. So bank stocks, REIT stocks, ETFs, they're going to be moving. We could see some ETFs this year. I mean, this year has been a good year for ETFs, but next year could be even better. The stars could not align more right now with what's going on with this moment in time. So, friends, I say all this to say, just be excited with what's going on. Now, obviously, the main, recipe to this whole thing right now is that, yes, we want to see SoFi, it's met the qualifications. There's really no reason why it should not be included. Now, saying that, with this, I somewhat wondered too, with SoFi taking, now I'm just gossiping, I'm purely gossiping at this point, but with this offering, this public offering that SoFi did, I do somewhat wonder, maybe they already know about the inclusion. Maybe there was money they need to allocate somewhere just to get them on a safer track record with software, wherever they were needing money. Who knows? Okay. But obviously, SoFi made it very clear, hey, we're just reallocating this money back into the company. So whatever that looks like, we don't know. But this is why the stock share price did not take more damage. It was just a shock of what happened here. like I said, if you're new to SoFi and you're like, well, why would they do that? Are they bleeding money? Anything like that? No, this is honestly a beautiful picture of what's going on over here with SoFi. I mean, this is literally, we've raised SoFi up here from being a child, and now it's going into like young teenage adulthood years here, young adult years, and it might be included into the SP 500, and things are getting crazy over here. So this is why SoFi could really do something special here this year. Man, if this happens, the next 5 years are going to be running wild with this company. This is very interesting, very interesting. So friends, I say all that to say, be excited. This is a moment right now for investors. This is a moment in this year. This could be one of the best stocks you might have in your portfolio. It's going to be great no matter what, with or without, the inclusion, but the inclusion will just be steroids. That's the thing about it. That would just be like this extra dose of madness in the stock right now. Friends, take care of yourself, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.